Perfect. Alrighty, fellas.
Perfect.
Perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the moment you've been waiting for your entire fucking life. We are at the season finale of the Real Relate podcast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in for 45 fucking plus episodes. An extra handful, 5 to 10 with impressions, reviews, unboxings. The hours in Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all the banana shit that we did. We built this shit from the ground up, boys and girls. From season 1, doing it in my fucking attic back home. Season 2, doing it back at the Hub 50/Boston. And now being here in Somerville, season 3, Zoom, fucking in person. Doesn't matter where you live, we got to you. Thank you for tuning in this entire time, boys and ladies. Bar, any special messages?
No, man, I'm excited. Jose's making a big move, as you guys all know. He's going to Miami. We're going to transition a lot of our content into more like gaming, tech, music, the culture in general. So I'm excited to see Real Relate pivot. And we appreciate you guys for tuning in day out. The 20 to 50 of you that
number went up. It was
always,
20 to 30. Now it's like 40 to 50. I love it.
Yeah.
Like an extra 20.
We appreciate you guys so much. So merch coming soon. We're going to drop some shorts or shorts and some like
dad caps.
Some dad caps. So
For sure. But don't be capping. Thank you guys. Like I said, the podcast ain't over. Get ready to see Real Relate in a new medium, in a new kind of light moving forward for season 4. But we need a fucking break. We need like a fucking 2-month fucking break before we hop on. But the last episode, season finale of the Real Relate podcast, we got a fucking golden one for you guys. Golden hours, right?
Shout out Connor Hallway.
Hey, he's in LA. We got a special one for you guys today. We got an incredible DJ. He just fucking ran the Boston Marathon. He is fucking Boston Music Awards. He's DJ of the Year as well, too, award. And he's just a fucking GOAT all over, working for Dope Entertainment. He's the director of music over at Dope Entertainment. Fucking shout out the clubs that are popping off with him. Going, what was it, Hava, Icon, Venue?
I've played at every major
He's
club
playing at every
Boston,
fucking one in Boston, in the fucking Boston area. So DJ SNAX in the fucking building. You know what time it is,
Yeah, appreciate it, guys, and congratulations on 45 episodes. I've had a podcast. We'll be back, but I've had a podcast before. I know how hard it is, and we didn't make it a 45 before we put in the towel for a little. Well, I wasn't putting in the towel, but things just...
It's never over.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
things
never
just...
over.
For us, it was... things opened up again. And, we did it when things were closed down. It was just a bunch of dudes that used to be in nightlife that had tons of time now, and then things opened up, and then all of a sudden we were crazy busy. So
yeah, but Barber, go ahead, hit him with the famous first question.
So you can take this however you like.
Okay.
We ask it to every guest on the show. Interpret it as you will. DJ SNAX, who are you today?
Oh yeah, that's a hell of a question. Again, having just ran the Boston Marathon last week, I can say I'm definitely someone who has accomplished things that they never thought it was possible, both physically and professionally and mentally. I like where I am. I'm pretty happy. But still, we're all in our mid-20s, and, we still know there's tons of life left and tons of opportunity left. You're moving, that you're opening a new chapter, closing this chapter. I think, as long as the book and the pages keep turning, that we're all in amazing places. It might be a bad chapter, but if the pages keep turning, that a new chapter, a good chapter is going to come up soon. So I just closed one with running, and just seeing kind of what the next chapter is right now. So doing well, excited, happy to be here. This is new for me as well. And happy to be back on a podcast.
And so you have your own podcast. How does being on this podcast make you feel a little bit? Does it make you miss it? Does it make you want to hop back in?
Doing the setup stuff, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah. We're teasing coming back. We've been teasing a little bit on social media. Little by little, and seeing people being like, oh, finally, and stuff like that. So seeing excitement is really, really cool. You know how it is. You just don't really. I mean, you can see analytics and stuff, but you don't really know how people are really digesting your podcast. Seeing that kind of feedback is really, really good and really, really encouraging. And I think we do want to change, having learned what we learned the first go around, change some things just format wise. And, it was just me as a host. I think I want to add other hosts. We were very guest heavy every episode, nearly had a different guest, and we would kind of tailor that episode towards that guest. And I think, scheduling was a whole thing that like I hated. And, I would just do tons of research every week. So I think sticking with like fixed hosts and like kind of just instead making topics rather than just kind of like relying on guests. Some guests like weren't good. Some guests were really good, so.
Did you edit the podcast?
Yeah, so in the beginning,
so a one-man show.
No, it definitely wasn't. That's why like you guys are more of a, even the 2-man show. Like we had a team of like 5, and like I was mostly just like the talent, and like I was able to do whatever I wanted creatively, but there was a point where the person who was editing our audio was the same guy who was editing our video, and I know he was getting so we were under the Dope Entertainment Media like umbrella, and they have multiple podcasts, and so it was one dude doing all of them, and I knew that there was I kept looking at him and I'm like, yo, like you're kind of just like putting things together, not in a bad way, but like just because of time and capacity, and
there was no love there?
Yeah, like it wasn't like specific, like I think
he was just editing to edit.
He was editing like what he needed to edit, but when I would like listen to my own thing and like listening to other podcasts and stuff, I was like, there are things that we could add that would make this way more, unique and just kind of give it more personality, give some more color and everything like that. So I was like, yo, like I make musical edits and produce a little bit like I do this. So like, let me take this part. The whole thing is like, oh, it's going to differ from like what's put on YouTube. But I was like, I don't care. Like if I feel like people either watch it on YouTube or they watch it or they listen to it. Rarely do they go back and forth. I'm sure they do, but, I wanted to add things, and the things that I would end up adding or mixing around, like I think made a really, really big difference, and people like immediately like, oh, like this is a much more enjoyable podcast to listen to now. So
yeah, it makes sense.
And it was like, if I'm the one talking, like I know what I want to be added. Like even like while I'm actively doing the interview or podcast, I'm like, oh, like I should add this like music, or I should add this effect or whatever.
And that's why like even for us here, like bro, when I'm up to like 4:00 editing, like it's like I'm sitting here thinking about, okay, what you said, what's a meme I could put in there, what's the background song I could put in there?
Exactly.
Like what's some cool crazy graphics that I can put over as an intro and outro. Like when you sit down and you're the one who's like the creative design for it, you're like, okay, I'm hosting it, but I'm also editing this, so you have kind of both ends of the spectrum at your control.
But imagine if someone else was doing it, they wouldn't be thinking the way you are.
Yeah, exactly. So like Austin used to edit our shit. Well, he was good, but like kind of to your point, he was just editing to get the job done.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean? He didn't have really the entirety of the Real Relay vision. He didn't see it the same way I did.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's no disrespect to him.
It's not.
He's a great fucking editor. Like he's phenomenal at what he does. But it's like you got to put the Jose spin on it. You got to put the DJ SNAX spin on it. Like the fun, cool shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the little things, like even just like a bell for notification or a graphic, bro, that just makes it more like engaging. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's crazy. So let's get into a little bit of your background now. Where are you from? Give us your origin story. Where are you from?
I lived in Boston my whole life. Grew up in Rosendale, so South Side, within the Boston neighborhoods. Kind of never left. Only left for like 6 months once. I spent some time in New York. In between, I transferred in between colleges. So in between that, I spent some time in New York, in Brooklyn, just alone. Became a man real fast, kind of thing.
Brooklyn will teach you.
It was that was crazy. Lived in Boston my whole life. Went to Holy Cross for college. Was there for 3 semesters. Just wasn't really for me. Didn't really like work out, the way that I think anyone kind of like intend their college experience to work out as. Left. Moved to New York, moved to Brooklyn, and was still taking classes there just to keep my credits up, but was mostly just like working and DJing. At this time, I was like, I don't know, 20.
How'd you get into DJing?
Hold on, but let him tell his story. Bro.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I skipped that part. I'm not really good at talking about myself like that.
Came on the Great Show.
Yeah, it's so the way I got into DJing was the spring of my senior year of high school into the summer before college. So this is 2013. So I need to like paint this picture. At that time, like big room EDM and like music festivals were like had like just become a thing. Like this is like I think Levels dropped in like 2012. So this is when EDM records would become like classics for our generation, if that makes sense.
No,
so like
shout out Whitmore.
And there's like, you know, you see, do you remember like the I'm Schmacked videos?
Dude, I
like,
was just that is a classic YouTube like
so this is that era.
Oh yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
And I think Project X dropped like I think in like 2011. Like this is like the world I'm in, right? And as like a junior or senior and then going into college.
This is like typical like EDM college frat boy.
Yeah. Like this was just like like that was the cool thing. Like that was what was like kind of emerging within youth culture at that time. Yeah. And so, you know, I was always a hip hop head growing up. Like I was a big like huge Kanye West fan, big Lil Wayne fan. Like that was just kind of like what I was always into. But then I got introduced to dance music and dance culture. And I was like, yo, like seeing videos of like Steve Aoki and like Diplo and Avicii and Hardwell, and I was just like, yo, this is just like crazy. And like I said, I've always appreciated music, but I was just like, man, this like energy is different. And I just got really into dance music. Like I just kind of like studied it and listened to so much of it. Excuse me. And I was just like, fuck, like I kind of want to like do this shit. Like I was like, it's just so cool, you know? And I didn't think that it would really become anything, but I was just like, this shit's cool. Like, there's girls everywhere. Like, it's music and there's pool parties and like I was just like, it's cool. And like, so without like telling anyone, like I bought my own like rig, like beginner's rig, like $200, like, and just started teaching myself. And I remember that summer, the transitional summer from high school to college, like one of my friends had just like this crazy like mansion house. It was Johnny Damon's old house. So, you know what I mean? So it was like a multi-million-dollar house, huge pool. He was hosting this like pool party, and he was like, yo, like you're kind of like starting this weird thing, like you want to just like DJ this party. And it was like a stupid yeah, it was just like a stupid setup, but like, you know, that was like my first taste of it. And I was like, dude, like I love doing, like I was just like, I'm really into this. I got really passionate about it. I would stay up like all night just like practicing. And like you're not really like realizing though. Like I think people
having fun with it.
But people stay up playing video games, you know what I mean, all night, and they don't realize that it's 4 a.m. They're like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like it's the same thing. Like I never really was into video games. Like I had like a GameCube growing up, but that was it. Like I never really played COD or Fortnite or anything like that. So like this was my version of that. So like I would just kind of spend all my time doing that. And then going into college, I remember at Holy Cross there was like this email that went out, and they were like looking for college DJs because the college would throw school sanctioned parties. So like it was to deter students to like go out and drink and like break rules. If they were like, yo, like we're gonna offer this party every week with DJs and like you can just come and dance, versus like trying to break rules and trying to go into somewhere like underage or go somewhere unsafe, like off campus.
Could you drink at those parties?
No, but people would drink before, you know what I mean? But there would be no bar. Like they would just like offer water, and they would like bring pizzas and like, you know what I mean? Like it was like a cool event. It was like a college dance basically, but they would make it every week. And so when you have something every week throughout the year, you need like, you know, a handful of DJs to be able to fill it out. So they sent this like school-wide email that I remember seeing my freshman year, like within like the first month, like within September, like, and I was just like, yo, like, I guess I'm like, this is sick. Like, and they pay you, like it was like paid, whatever. I was like, yo, this is fucking sick. Let's do it. And so like I did like this interview, like they didn't ask me for like a mix or anything. Like the interview was just like how long have you been DJing? Like, do you want, like, is this amount of money okay? Like, I was just like, yeah. And like I just kind of want to DJ. And so I remember there was like a dude who was an alum. Let me see if I can get this. There was a dude who was an alum that they would bring back, and then there was a dude who was like a junior, a dude who was a sophomore, and then me. So that was like the lineup. You know what I mean? Then we would just get like rotate. And obviously we all had our different styles, and you know, because I still had like the crazy hip hop background, and also coming up in like Boston, like I knew a lot of Caribbean music and like dance hall and stuff like that. Was like the high school barbecues and parties that we had growing up, basement parties or whatever. So like I also had that bag, and then I was super into like the dance music stuff. And then all the other DJs were like either only dance music or only hip hop or whatever. So they noticed that like every time I was there, the numbers were just like a little bit bigger. And then like I was also a freshman, so like all the freshman kids were super excited. Like obviously the kid who was like a junior, I'm sure most of his friends were already going out to bars, so like he wasn't bringing like necessarily a crowd, but he was probably the most experienced. So it was like this just like weird dynamic of like this weird party. But I was getting my reps, like playing in front of crowds, and like because you know you can have the best mixes and like post really, really awesome stuff, but putting you in front of a crowd is way different. Like it's like sparring. Like you can be really good in the gym and like beat up every person they put in front of you, but like once it's your first pro fight and the lights are on and like the showgirls are there and like maybe there's some pros in the stands, like you're gonna get nervous and then all of a sudden like you get hit in the face, you're like, oh shit, like I can't do it. So yeah, I was doing that for a while and then doing some like dorm parties. It's like a D1 football school, so like I was doing like football player parties and shit. Like it was super cool. And then eventually got into the bar scene there, just because they were like, oh, like local college kids that have like some hype that can bring some people. And then yeah, left. And then once I was in New York, I was like back at zero. No one knew who I was. I didn't have any connects there or anything.
Why'd you go to New York?
Because New York's sick. Like you know, it's
that's DJ SNAX thing. It's just like, yo, it's just fucking cool and sick.
So I knew I was leaving, and then but I didn't know where I was gonna go yet, and it's crazy looking back because I was like, I can't believe my mom let me do this. So I didn't really have like a plan, but like I was just like, I have God family that lives in Queens, so like that was like a sense of security, but I wasn't living with them. Like I was living an hour train ride away in Brooklyn. So like, and New York is just so big that it's like it might as well be in a different state.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, I feel you because I went to Rolling Loud in Queens. It's at City Field.
Yeah.
And then if you lived in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's like
deep.
It's like an over an hour train ride. Yeah.
Where in Brooklyn? Did you live?
Like flat, like off of like 2 blocks from the Barclay Center.
Okay.
Like off of Flatbush Ave.
Okay.
Close to DeKalb. Like I guess people who are from Brooklyn might know what I'm talking about.
Did you have like a job out there or something, or like?
So I got a job while I was there. So like, dude, it was crazy. Like,
yeah,
so,
I'm kind of like intrigued. Like,
yeah.
I'm just letting you go.
So I knew some people that were okay. Do you know what Big Crit is?
That sounds familiar.
He's like a Southern rapper. Like he didn't get that big, but like he was a XXL freshman years ago. Like
yes.
Yeah. So I knew Big Crit's manager, Steve-O. Shout out Steve-O Brown. Like so he was someone who was there. And he also went to LIU Brooklyn. That was his alma mater. And I remember throughout this whole process, I was talking to him. I was like, yo, like, I'm really into this music shit right now. Or like DJing just in general. I'm not really fucking with my school right now, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, yo, while you figure it out, just come here. He's the one who got me. So the classes that I was taking to keep my credits up were at LIU Brooklyn. So he helped out with that. And then I found, dude, the apartment. So the apartment I was in was like the shittiest thing in the world, and it was just like all white. It looked like in the I remember the light, like the light bulb. It just made it look like a hospital. Oh, you know what I mean? It was just like white. Everything was just like white. And then I was like poor. Like I was 20 years old. I was like poor and like, you know, I didn't know how long I was gonna stay there, so I didn't like put furniture or like make any like vibes in it. Like it was just like this white room. And it was just like very miserable. And what I found out, and what I found, but it was super cheap, like compared to like even like, I mean, Boston's expensive too, but not as expensive New York. Like,
how much a month for rent?
Oh, I don't. It was like 800.
A studio?
Yeah. I guess it was a studio.
It must have been a studio one.
No, but thing is, it was in a building. It was in like this big building. There was like tons of fucking tenants. Like so many. I don't even remember what floor. I think it was like the 6th floor or something. Like it was just like this. Nothing was glamorous. There was no view. Like I was up high, but my view wasn't shit. Like the room was terrible, and like the building wasn't that nice. But what I realized, so I remember being like, this is so weird how this is priced away. But also it's, you know, I think I moved in like January. Like it was like in a random time in the year. Usually like people move in like September or whatever. So it was a random time. So I was like, I guess that worked out. I ended up meeting like a neighbor like months later, and he was just like, yo, like, do you know like about your apartment? And I was like, nah, like, what do you mean?
Oh, you about to tell me?
Yeah, like, yeah, like, you know about your like the person who like lived there before you?
Oh, yeah, that's so like spooky.
Yeah. No, and I was like, nah. He goes, so it was this Asian dude that like that didn't talk to anyone. You know, he was just this, you know, this quiet guy, whatever. But he lived with his girlfriend, and then like one night, like there was just cops everywhere, caution tape all over the thing, and like he goes, all I remember, like obviously I like looked out my door. He was like 3 doors down or something. And he saw the dude with like gashes all over his neck, like just fucked up, and then them arresting the girl. And I guess like they got in, but long story short, like I guess the girl like really attacked him, fucked shit up, and then
really fought him.
but he had like a knife or something. Like he had gashes like on his neck. Like
she came at him.
Yeah, he was like really fucked up. And then, so obviously they move out. Like she gets arrested, he moves out. Like, and that's why the room was available, and that's why it was so cheap. Like, and then it all just like made sense. You know what I mean?
Then they say you little DJ boy go walking in there.
But there's no one knew who I was. Like I wasn't even DJing at this time.
Yeah.
And so the job that I got was this like boutique like Best Buy type thing. Like we sold computers and whatever. I was just like I was good with computers, so like it was like literally down the street, and I was like word, and I got the job pretty easily. So that's where I was working, and then I met someone who was part of like a nearby like small time like radio spot. And I was like, yo, I'm a DJ, and like just started like stalking it, and then ended up being able to DJ there. Then did really well. Then started getting like a weekly spot there. So then I started getting DJ reps, and I was like, okay, now I can like do stuff. And it was just like meeting tons of people, because they would actually get like artists, like small time artists, but like artists come through, especially New York, like local dudes, like local rappers, and they would like do interviews and stuff like that. So I was like meeting people, and like I was just like, if I wasn't working, because like my apartment was so shitty and I didn't really know anyone, if I wasn't working, I was at the studio. You know what I mean? I was just hanging out, and like, there's a girl there that I thought was cute. I would just hang out with her and like just see who came in and out, and like listen to other DJs and stuff. I was still like such a shitty young DJ. And then I remember Wale was doing a college tour at the time, and he was doing a stop at St. John's, which was only like a mile away.
Is that where J. Cole went?
I think so. So. Yeah. So it's a school that like, it's like a D1 school in Brooklyn, you know what I mean? Like, and so I remember he was doing a stop at St. John's, which is only like a mile away. So they were like, okay, we're trying to get him to the studio. We're trying to do this he was doing this college bus tour, like this. They're trying to do this event, just radio shit. And they were like, yo, like we need a DJ. Like I did the event. Like it was like, that was like the biggest thing for me. Like I am a Wale fan, I guess, but at the time I was a bigger Wale fan. Met him there. Like, so I was just getting like small little reps, small little gigs. Started playing in like this shitty ass place, I think called like the Green Lady in Chinatown. Which was like, again, this small bar, and just getting rep, like literally, like, that's all. It was just, I was just grinding.
How was it DJing for a while for that tour for Wale?
I mean, it was just like an event, like I would like, cause he would only come for like a fixed amount of time, so I had to like be the music for like all the other time, cause there was like all these fucking kids, that wanted to meet Wale and shit, so. So yeah, like I was just like, it was just a grind. Like it's one of those things that like thinking back, I like can't believe kind of happened. Like, Ubers were like barely a thing at the time. Like Uber Eats wasn't a thing. Like there's just like so much that like Instagram wasn't what it was today. TikTok didn't exist. Like it was just such a different world. You know what I mean? And I was just like this like ignorant ass kid that like had no idea what was going on. And then there was literally just a point where I was sitting in my apartment and I was like, I need to go back to school. And like I was just like, this is cool, like and like this experience is like awesome, but I was just like I don't know what I'm doing, like
was there no like trajectory for you or something like that?
I mean, like within a few months, I'd gone on the radio and like but that's just like if I tell the story of my entire life, there's tons of moments where I'm constantly trying to make myself better, whatever it is. Like, that's just how I am. So it wasn't a matter of like me being idle and like just like sitting around and wasting my time. Like I was constantly trying to like push this forward to make it work, because I had to work. Like that was the only way I was getting money. You know what I mean? That was the only way that New York was going to make sense. You know what I'm saying? So, but then there was just a point where I was just like, it's all freelance at the end of the day. Whether you're a photographer, whether you're a painter, like it can all fall through. And I was just like, I need to get a degree, And so I remember my friend was telling me, you're like, Suffolk has this rolling transfer program where like you can kind of just like, I guess like apply whenever and like go in, and if they fuck with you, like they'll let you in, I guess.
They fuck with you.
like that's for like
that's how I got into college. They fucked with me.
well, but we have to understand, like, Holy Cross is like a nationally ranked school.
Yeah.
And like it's like a 30% acceptance rate. Like it's like I was a really, really good student. And so like
we like A's and B's all the time.
Oh yeah, like I was president of my class in high school. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
no damn.
So I kind of knew that like where like Suffolk is more of like a public school and like city school and like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like,
they'll take you.
I kind of knew, you know what I mean? I was like, I would be surprised if they didn't take a kid from Holy Cross, honestly. Yeah. So I remember I applied, and then I went back to Boston to not only see my family, but to do the interview. And I remember I was in like a fucking suit. I was super nervous because like I put all my eggs in one basket. I didn't apply anywhere else. And they also had a business program. So in New York, I was taking my first business classes because Holy Cross is a liberal arts school, so there's no business school. That's why like I didn't know what to major in, other shit. So I was like, yo, I like marketing, like I like business. Like if I go here, they have a really, really good business school actually. Like this could work out, and I'll be home, whatever. And so I remember super nervous. Like it was like a 9 a.m. interview, like super early. I remember we were like pressing my pants the night before type shit. Like, and we pull up, I'm all suited. And I remember the dude, he was super nice, like welcomed me in. Yo, welcome. We like had what it was ended up being like my paperwork, my not resume, like a fucking, my transcript, like my transcript. And he was looking at it, and the first thing he says was like, "So Holy Cross, huh?" And I'm just like, "Yep."
You're like, bag.
Yeah, no, literally. And I was just like, "Yeah." And he goes, "So tell me about like your experience. Like, why didn't you like it?" And basically, this be like, "Hey," was like, "Yeah, like it's a liberal arts school. Like, I want to study business." What I realized over the time, and I've as you can see, I've taken some classes at another school to be able to experience it and blah, blah. Like I gave him the spiel. He was like, "Yeah, it makes perfect sense." And he was just like, "And you're from Boston?" I was like, "Yeah." And he's just like, "Cool," and like shakes my hand, and I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, you're good. You're in." And I was like, I'm not joking, 10-minute interview.
Damn.
Like, and
that wasn't even ready.
And I was in, and this isn't like Suffolk ended up like in retrospect, like, and I have a 17-year-old little sister right now who is about to go through this process, and I'm like, yo, the names of these colleges are great, but what matters is like what you do within them. Like, I'm a twin as well, and my
identical.
No, so she's a girl. So we went into Holy Cross together, and she stayed and I left, right? And what we ended up realizing was when it comes to like internship time, like getting internship in Boston is very different than getting internship in Worcester. You feel what I'm saying? So when I was at Suffolk, sure, I was in a lower ranked school in a fewer star school, but I had an entire city at my disposal for as far as internships went. And I ended up getting a sick ass internship at the startup, blah, 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 in marketing, whatever, in the marketing department, which led me to a really sick job outside of school where my sister was really struggling. And that's when I kind of learned, like, yeah, again, these ranked schools and all that shit is cool. And you should definitely, work hard if that's your goal or whatever. But like, if you go to a state school or city school or whatever, it all is completely dependent on like what you do within it. Like what, you see the opportunities that are handed to you and what are you going to do with it? You know what I'm saying?
I think that's a great idea because I think it's a great point that you bring that up because a lot of people do fall into the trap of like, hey, it's a fucking, it's Harvard or it's this and that. It's like this private school, like you said, in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
And it's like they think the name is going to get them places, which it might sometime, but I think to be realistic and real, it's like, bro, you're right. It's about going to school and getting your degree. I'm glad you realized that.
Yeah. And
you got to get that degree because it could all fall down, right? It could all fall through.
Yeah. And more specifically to me, like imagining a DJ career in Worcester versus Boston. Like it's just, it's apples to oranges. Like I my DMs are full of DJs from Lowell and Worcester trying to make their way into Boston, which makes sense. You know what I mean? So again, ending up at Suffolk ended up being the best thing ever.
That's incredible.
But I had to, for the third time, start my DJ career over.
Yeah. And that's a great message because again, some people fucking fail and they just give up. You fail. This is my third time starting over. And you recognize the importance of education like Vasyan and like also realize that now I'm going to take it a step further. It's not just the importance of having the education because things fall through, but it's like also depends on where you go to school and how that's going to pivot you and set you up for the rest of your possible career. Going to school in Worcester at Holy Cross versus going to Suffolk and Boston. Yes, like you said, different level of school, different like rankings and shit. But it doesn't matter. It's just a fucking name sometimes. It matters about who you're talking to,
the network,
connection, the network, and like what you do there.
Yeah. So then at this point, now having not only a full city, but like the city I grew up in that I knew really, really well, was able to make the friends I need to make. And over time, probably I remember that. So this is, going in September, turned 21 that December. St. Patty's Day, so in March, that following March was my first like big club gig. So now it's La Fabrica, but at the time it was
I had my birthday there. In November.
But at the time it was Monroe. And then before that it was Nara. So it depends how old you are. You'll know it as different things. But there.
Wait, so La Fábrica was 2 different places before that?
No, it was just they just got new owners. They got like bought out by new ownership, and they were changed to La Fábrica. So it used to be called Monroe at this time. So this is 20.
We're getting all the backstory.
This is 20.
It's crazy how the stories is
La Fábrica was awesome, bro.
Dude, yeah, it's a great spot. And like shout out Renato, who's manager there, and Castaneda, Saturday resident, El Cid, Friday resident. I know all the homies there. It's a great spot. And but that was my first like big club gig in Boston. Then I started playing at like Royale. I started playing, I went back to Monroe, La Fábrica a couple times, and then I just started like, it just started happening. That's how it happens. Like once you started getting into a few spots, if you do it right and do your job and are good, like it's gonna start branching out little by little. So, this is me at 21, and then fast forward, like head down. I'm 27 now, and kind of am where I am.
I would say no. Now, no. Back up a little bit more. How would you say now you're doing that? You're doing that, going to Royale and starting doing La Fábrica and stuff like that. But how did you connect it? Now the next piece that's important is how did you get connected to dope?
Yeah, so I think if there are DJs listening to this, one of the biggest things is to be as versatile as possible as a DJ. And I might say that, and you might be like, obviously, but it's not that common sense to a lot of DJs. Like, so at the time, Monroe was like sometimes they would have a hip hop night, sometimes they would have like a college night, sometimes they would have, it's different. And right now, they're just mostly Latin, as you know. But then a place like Royale, it's like strictly dance music, for example. And then there's some spots that are only hip hop, and then there's some spots that are only Latin, XYZ. So if the question is how many different places you want to play, how many different events you want to play, how many nights you want to get booked up for, but you only play two to three different genres of music, how do you expect to get booked at all these places, right? Mm-hmm. So again, this is a kid who 3 years before could tell you anything about hip hop, fully divulged himself into dance music, and then had like a Caribbean party background. And I'm Latino. You know what I mean? And that's just like how I'm starting.
You got all your infinity
trifecta.
Stones.
Like, you know what I mean? Like
infinity stones.
So no, literally, exactly. And and this is me at 21. So like now taking shit more seriously, studying more. Like now all of a sudden I'm like, I remember there was a point where I used to get excited for like 5 gigs a month, and now I have 25 gigs a month. You know what I mean? Like people hit me up all the time. How do I get booked? It's so simple. Learn more music. Like learn more crowds, learn different kinds of events. All this, then you have a college gig here, you have a wedding here, you have a big, you're opening up for an artist here.
You ever turn down something and be like, nah, I don't.
Oh, I turned down gigs all the time.
Or not even in a sense, like when you were starting out, be like, nah, I wouldn't do that. Like what stopped you from saying like, nah, I wouldn't do that?
I mean, you reach a point, like I think anyone who's starting out is probably going to take everything that they want, or everything that they can rather. But then when you reach the point where you can reject something, I think that's an I made it moment. I think in everything you're going to reach different I made it moments. And I think that's one of the first ones for DJ.
So in the beginning, take what you can, be versatile.
Take because you're going to learn. Like if it's
don't turn someone down.
If it's like, DJ, like my 5-year-old's birthday party, that's going to suck. Like it's not going to be fun. But you're probably going to learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot about patience. You're going to learn a lot about like people nagging you. You're going to learn a lot about timing, pacing of the music. Like those are things that you don't know that you're going to learn until you do it. Versus, everyone who is a 21-year-old DJ that like is just getting into, they want the headlining shit. Like
they ain't ready for it.
But no, there's no way, and you can't expect to be. How do you play summer league basketball and then expect to get chosen, get picked up by a D1 school? Like, obviously, everyone wants thousands of people cheering for them. Obviously, everyone wants to hit the dream buzzer beater. But like, if you're not ready, you're not ready. If you're not good enough, you're not good enough. Like, and that's literally in anything. Like, if you go on my Instagram, I have a lot of videos and photos of like my name is in lights and I'm in front of thousands of people, and it's amazing and it's beautiful. But it wasn't always like that. My Instagram used to be full of pictures of me at bars, like where there's 50 people and I'm just like raging as a kid. And like, I thought that was the coolest thing ever. You know what I mean? But there are definitely levels to this shit. And But the biggest thing is to be like patient and very realistic of what's going around you. Like if you know, so TikTok has changed what in the world? Probably everything, right? In the modern first world, right? So if you're not in line with that change, for example, then how do you expect to, you know, how do you expect to be in demand? You know what I mean? If you're not going with the times, right? In the last 3 years, so much has changed musically, attention spans have changed, socially, you know, how we're consuming things has changed. So if you're not aware of that, then you're 3 years behind. And then all the people that are fully aware of that and have gone with those trends and understand those things, they're going to be more in demand than you are. Because at the end of the day, if you can relate to the crowd and get control of the crowd faster and better, then that translates to liquor sales, that the bar sales, that contributes to, you know, how early the crowd is coming versus how late the crowd's coming when they're leaving. Like, this is all a business at the end of the day. It's all math. It's all plugging in. So if you're hurting that, it doesn't matter in my opinion, as a music director, how popular you are, you're hurting our night. You know what I mean? And if you're someone who's super not popular, but fuck, every time they pull in, we rack in another $1,000 and all the bottle girls make this much more money and people get that much more excited, they're going to be back. And so be patient and, you know, kind of, again, understand your context, understand your surrounding, and really be realistic of your ability. Like, you might think you're good, and in the bar scene that you might do really, really awesome, but that's a whole different beast. That's the minor leagues compared to the major leagues. You know what I mean? You might be the man on the Paw Sox, but you go to the Red Sox, bro.
Garbage.
And everyone throws 100. You know, you're clocking 85 mile an hour fastballs from the minor leagues, but then you go in front of Chapman, like you're playing the Yankees, you know what I mean? And he's throwing 105. Like, it's different. You know what I mean? Like, it's completely different. You're not the man anymore. Yeah. Everyone was like you. Everyone was the man in the minors. That's why they're in the majors. You know what I mean? And so it's completely like that. To how I linked up with Dope, it's funny, I still have the DM from 2017 of when I DM'd Ado. Hey, man.
Shout out Ado.
Yeah, shout out Ado.
He came on here.
I'm sure he did. He's a great person to have. He's one of the smartest and coolest dudes I know.
He's a great dude.
The DM says, like, hey, man, would love to work with you. Let me know if you're looking for a DJ. Like, this is 2017.
You reached out to him.
Yeah. 5 years later, I'm his music director. We talk every day. Like, and now we're like, we're not business partners. That's not what our relationship is. It's like, I'm his DJ. I'm his guy. He's my boss. Like, you know what I mean? And that's, like, everyone thinks that, like when I got designated my position, my director position, everyone's like, oh, he's just a DJ. Like, they've known each other since they were 5 years old. And, like, that's just, like, his friend. It's like, no. A music director at 26 is unheard of in our industry.
Let them know.
You see what I'm saying? Like, I have booking power now. I decide who I make the decision if you can play at these venues or if you don't.
Like, if which DJs play what?
If a DJ goes up to Ado and says, yo, I want to play at Icon. I love this night. Ado would literally be like, that's not my job. Talk to Snacks, here's his number. Because he's worried about with things way bigger than that. And that's what, and think of any business. The CEO isn't worried about the sales associate, unfortunately, right? They hire the director of that district. The district hires the general manager, and the general manager is worried about the sales associate, right? The CEO is dealing shit way bigger than that. Feel me? So that's kind of how it is, and that's how he structured Dope. That's why Dope is way different than any nightlife promoter entity, because most promoters kind of see it as like, we're just a group of dudes that like to party, like girls. This is fun, and we make some money out of it. Like, he sees it in a very different way, right? And you guys have had him in the show, and I think you guys can tell, you know, when he talks about it. You know what I mean?
So well spoken.
Like, you're like, fuck, he could sell me anything. You know what I mean?
You could have him on here and talk for 4 hours.
1,000%. Yeah. And so, like, that's how some of our phone calls are. Like, at that time in 2017, like, yeah, he gave me an opportunity, and, like, he saw the vibes. Like, I crushed his fucking night, and then he was like, yo, let's get you back. And then I was just, like, DJing, like, as he got bigger and better venues, like, he would just take me with him and be like, yo, like, like I was saying before, every time you're here, it's different. The bar makes that much more money, which means I make that much more money. Our nights do that much better.
Because besides Dope, you have your own name. You're DJ Snacks. Bro.
Yeah. I have a following.
You have your own following.
Yeah, and
your own storyline.
That's the thing. Like, he understands that, you know, if if other people of his team do well, then just the team does well in general.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You're only
like,
as strong as your weakest.
Yeah. So, now like the deal is like when it came time. So I got my position last year. I just had the year anniversary like a couple months ago. And
you do full time.
I mean, it's not like a full-time job. Like it's like, it's just my duty. Like it's just, okay, well, across these clubs and these venues, depending on the time of year, there's more or less, these are the events we have, staff them. And I'm like, okay. And that's my job. And then I get compensated the way I get compensated. And if the nights do well, then we do well.
So how do you go about like finding like DJ talent to like?
So the DJ community in Boston is not big. Like, it's not big, bro. Like, especially with social media, like we're all connected and we all know of each other.
Do you know the guys over at QNC?
Yeah. We did Mike Lamb's birthday like last month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
DJ Mike Lamb.
Like it's we're all like we're all in the same ecosystem. You know what I'm saying?
So you're all connected.
Yeah, 1,000%. And then so it's just a matter of like, 1, do they fit? 2, like, are they good? 3, can they handle it? Like it's all just like it's different things that play a part in it. And then but at the end of the day, the decisions is mine. I could just book myself every Friday and Saturday forever, and I wouldn't have to worry about another booking if I wanted to. But I don't. Like, I'd rather get other people opportunities, rather like mix it up, get my boys in, you know what I mean, and
True.
And build things that way.
True. You're such a good DJ. You won the Boston Music Awards for best DJ.
I did.
What year was that? 2020.
I won it in December.
Oh, damn! Congratulations.
Yeah, so I won it for 2021.
Wow,
yeah.
There you go, dude. How you feel? Congratulations.
It's great. I mean, I have the year to flex the arm. You know what I mean? And I mean, think of pretty much any award in any industry or anything, like there's going to be a lot of people that say how much it matters, and there's going to be a lot of people, probably more, that are going to say how much it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, think of Macklemore's Grammy. Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? When he beat Kendrick.
Yeah,
like,
that was tough.
all of a sudden, people are going to say, oh, Michael Jackson has this record of Grammys, Kanye has 21 Grammys, but the second Macklemore wins, it's like, oh no, the Grammys don't matter. You know what I'm saying? So,
but what does it mean to you, though?
Yeah, sure. So I just wanted to preface it and say, awards don't necessarily define everything, right? It's good to be recognized, and it's good to even be considered. Like, I think even me being nominated was like, it's not that it was a better feeling, but it was like, because it was the first feeling, I was like, okay, like, I'm getting recognized for what I'm doing.
Being nominated in and of itself felt great.
Yeah. I was just like, okay, like, people, like, that was the first like time like I've, DJing is such a subjective thing that, like, when you get like nominated or something and it's like set in stone in black and white, it's like, wow, like, I have reached this point. You see what I'm saying? So, winning was that day was amazing. Like, there's nothing better than winning.
Pop bottles?
Yeah, like, we went out after, I mean, it was a Wednesday night, so it wasn't anything too crazy, but, now people know. And
look at us.
People, like promoters and stuff, or if I do a new event, like, it's like, we have Boston's, DJ of the year with us tonight. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we have the world heavyweight champion, XYZ.
I love that.
You know what I mean? Like,
but from Brooklyn, from that apartment.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
to that,
like,
crazy,
and there's tons of, and things like, there's a ton of
shit. Talk your shit. Talk your shit.
No, but
let them know, bro.
What I'm saying is that, but there's a ton of people that try to invalidate it, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Because they're.
It could suck.
But then there was so then last year, and this is part of what helped me even get nominated. Like, I competed in 3 battles. You know what I'm saying? So
Mike the DJ, remember?
Like, so, and I won 2 of them, play second in the 3rd one. So, like, my whole thing with because come the nomination list, oh my God, like, DJ Facebook is on fire. You know what I'm saying? People complaining, people saying, oh my, I'm happy to be nominated. Thank you so much. Like, whatever, like, consider voting for me. Then there's the people, oh my God, I deserve to be nominated. I've done this. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy.
I see why you have a preempt. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's crazy. You know,
DJ community.
And so, because we're so small, we all see it. And the comments, whoever says the craziest thing, there's 100 comments on people arguing within the comments. It's crazy.
Damn.
And so, my whole thing was, in 2020 to 2021 during lockdown. So it was that's why it was an interesting year to be nominated, because like it wasn't so much who's playing the biggest clubs. No one was playing clubs. It wasn't so much who's opening for Major Lazer, who's opening for Tiesto. Like none of that was happening. So there was so many DJs that were like, oh no, I deserve because I've done this. And I'm like, yeah, but that was last year, or that was 5 years ago. Like we're talking about this year, right? It's the music is like once the 2022 winner is announced, my year's over. I'm just set in history. You know what I'm saying? So in that year, 2020, 2021, like I put together a virtual music festival. Like I started the podcast, which is a DJ related podcast. Was doing all this. I started I was the first DJ to live stream in Boston, and grew the biggest following through that live stream. I was doing Zoom parties, and I started battling because I wasn't DJ anymore and I was winning. You know what I'm saying? So
you found it,
and within the year I got the music director. Damn. So
you were just like, while everyone was sleeping,
he was pivoting.
He was just like, move, playing execution. Like you were grinding.
Yeah, but that's why when I got nominated, like the amount of "you deserve this" I got was like crazy. You know what I mean? And I knew I did. Like there are other nominees that I was like, yo, like they could easily win. They did that. You know what I'm saying? They did that. You know.
But just like Suffolk, you know, bag.
No, it wasn't when I got nominated that I knew it was automatic. Like it wasn't that at all.
Nah, but you know you worked hard.
But that's what I mean. Like when I got nominated, I was like, yeah, I do deserve to be nominated.
Yeah.
Like I would be surprised if I wasn't nominated. So you know that was that. I mean, it's great. Like again, like being able to hear that and have that accomplishment under me that's
huge, bro.
Pretty awesome.
Huge. We're proud of
There's really like no negative to it. I mean, besides like people hating on it, I guess. But that's what I mean. Like it'd be like DJing is one of those things. Like I'm trying to find a good like analogy for it. Like sports is the easiest one. But it's like, okay, if you don't think I deserve MVP of the league, like let's play 1-on-1. And let's see if you know what I mean. Like, and so that's why when I
love the energy.
But that's why when I did the battles, that's why when I did the battles, I was like, okay,
me on Rust.
I was like, if you have so many issues, then like let's battle.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. And like people, and I would say that, and people would be, oh, no, see that battle shit is different. Like, okay, then shut up. Like, you know what I mean. Like, if you don't want to take it to the skills, then shut up. I have a resume just as good as you, and I'm younger than you. So then what are we doing? You know what I mean?
I'm about that action.
But the thing is, I think if you want to be the best in whatever you're doing, whether it's work, whether it's as an athlete, whether it's in art, you should be able to. If you want to be considered the best, being the best in anything is subjective, I think, besides statistics, right? So then let's do statistics then. You know what I mean? You know,
that's when people get scared.
That's when people get scared. That's what I'm saying.
Show me the numbers.
You know what I mean? Like
the numbers, Mason.
How many plays you have? How many this and that?
Yeah, like it's you know, and if let's get in front of an audience and let them judge us then one by one. Like in DJing, that's what it is. Like DJ battle culture. Battle. DJ battle culture has existed since the 70s. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, so let's do it. Like if we really are a part of this culture, let's get back to the basics. Let's battle. Yeah. Oh, but then they don't want to do it. You know what I mean?
He said, "I'm with all the smoke."
So and that's what it was. And
free smoke.
But it's not so much. It's more so like if this is, I'm willing to defend it. You know what I'm saying? And I believe in myself.
Defend your title.
I'm not gonna retreat and be like, oh, like I got this award just because I got lucky, or like, oh, I'm just popular or whatever. I know that I am. I know I do have a following. I know I am pretty popular out here, but I could also defend
you earned it. You deserved it, bro. You worked your ass off for it. Like the whole that's why he told us the whole pre-story. You know, him in Brooklyn and everything like that, and going to school and doing all that shit. Like, you've stated your case, and it's definitely we certified. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you know, again, with DJing being such a it's such a showy industry or profession that like, oh, the egos are crazy. You know what I'm saying?
That's the kind of vibe I'm getting off.
Yeah, the egos are insane.
It seems like you've dealt with like some crazy comments.
There's there's the ego stuff. Like I try on social media, like I try and stay as like there are some DJs that like just talk all day on social media talking
Dead
shit.
ass.
Like, oh yeah, they have a good arm to flex and they'll flex it, and you know what I mean, and being like, oh, I'm doing this, y'all are doing that. Like,
Why they hate? Why they
no,
doing that?
but and like I said, that's in literally everything.
True, yes.
You know what I'm saying? So me personally, I stay quiet. I try and stay out of it. And if someone does step to me, I'm like, let's take it to the skills. Like that's my bet. And I'd rather let the DJing talk for me than just an ego talk for me. You see what I'm saying? And so that's all it is. But that was then. I think that ship has kind of sailed. Like that, the smoke the dust has kind of settled. So now we're back to just kind of being focused on like, okay, what's next? You know what I mean? So yeah, back to business. Doing what I need to do as a DJ. We just came off of Jay Critch on Friday. The week before we had Waka Flocka. Like I was West Virginia 2 weeks ago. I'm in Texas this Saturday. Like I'm just focused on spreading the seed, doing bigger things, and
spreading the
seed. I was gonna spreading the seed. I was gonna say, do you feel like for like the personal DJ Snacks brand or Dope Entertainment? I talked to him. Are you guys going to Miami? Are you guys want to kind of explore and expand? Like
I don't want to speak for Ado. Him being the
just you personally
main. So I mean, well, for Snacks, like I think I'm very close, if not at the ceiling of Boston. Like I said, like I've been resident at most of the major clubs in Boston, and I'm currently the resident of two to three of the biggest clubs here. So, I did my job there, won the awards, won the battles. Like I've done what I need to do here. So now, like one of my biggest goals is now like there's a few like playing at Big Night Live was a goal, and we did it. You know what I mean? Excuse me. Doing a music festival in June. Like that was a goal. We're doing it. Like, so again, like as far as like Boston, Massachusetts, New England, like I'm kind of hitting that ceiling. So now it's like, okay, like let's go other places around the country.
You got to start exploring.
Yeah. So
traveling and
February we were in Florida. You know what I mean? Did a bunch of spots there. Looking to go back. Did Philly. Did all over New England, obviously. And then West Virginia last week, Texas this week. So. That like now that's like where like my energy is shifting is like being able to like be in demand in other places, and like when I show up, letting them know I'm there. This is what it's like. Bring me back.
So you're definitely you're expanding.
It's always expansion. Like
the expansion.
Yeah. When you hit a ceiling, like it's all about.
We'll
expansion.
see you in Vegas soon enough.
Hopefully, I mean that's wherever it is. Like I think, at this point,
see that club live.
That would be pretty awesome. I think at this point, I think I'm one of the luckiest people in the world in the sense that my hobby or my passion makes me money, right? We hear so many of these stories of like the person that wanted to be a writer, but they at the end of the day, they got to work to support their family, like, or the painter that like no one wants to buy their shit. And so they are depressed and because they work a fucking stupid day job. Like I am lucky enough where DJing makes me money. And I am able to be paid to do what I love, right? And so that's one thing, right? And that's something that I was able to accomplish within the first few years of my story, right? I'm able to get money and get gigs from something I love. And then we shifted over, okay, now being able to master it and be able to be considered the best of what you love. That's another thing, right? And then the next thing now is to be able to travel the country while doing what you love.
I believe in you.
Yeah. And then farther than that,
crazy.
And then the last one is travel the world. Being able to do what you love.
Dude, imagine like you and like Steve Aoki are like fucking going crazy, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it's some people's journey happens faster.
He ain't gonna stop. He ain't gonna stop.
No, of course
He gonna keep going until he accomplishes.
You're giving me Connor Holloway vibes.
You're giving me big like, yo, I'm gonna you're like
relentless.
You're like
relentless.
Dude, I just ran a marathon.
But so transfer to that. You just ran the Boston Marathon too.
It's just
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's I think that was just another example of just like the type of dude I am.
Triumph.
Like it's just like no matter if it's ugly or if it's, I'm gonna get it done and it's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm 250 pounds. I'm not what many people consider as a distance runner. You know what I mean? But like we did the training, we did the run, and and I have the same medal as everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So, and that was probably the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And what I learned was like, it's not so much the journey to cross the finish line, but it's the journey to get to the starting line. You see what I'm saying? Like the whole, I trained from November to April, and training through the Boston winter and like trying to get your miles and running 20 miles and then DJing that night on the verge of passing out. Like these are all things that, you know, not only obviously my physical body changed, but like the biggest thing was the mental, like breaking through mental walls and kind of, you know, understanding that like humans are just capable of so much. Like it's like insane. And that's something that I didn't really realize. And then my perception of time changed. When you're running for 5 hours, your perception of time changes.
Did it feel faster than it was?
No, no. You know, that's what I'm saying.
It felt like 5 hours.
Imagine running for 5 hours.
Dude, I can't imagine running for 30 minutes.
Yeah, and I wouldn't run with music.
Damn.
So they didn't let you run with music?
No, it's not that they didn't. It's just I chose because I've done enough races where my headphones die or I lose an earbud, or you know what I'm saying, and then all of a sudden your plan A is fucked. So I ran on the Boston Marathon. I ran with headphones on me, but I never used them. They were plan B, not my plan A, because I trained without them to be able to not rely on technology.
Damn.
So run for 5 hours, just in your own thoughts.
Damn. What were you thinking about the whole time?
Dude, you think in every long run, a long run I guess I would consider is a run I think past like 13 miles. Every long run I did, I cried.
Cried?
Yeah, dude.
Damn.
Dude, long distance running is like very emotional. Like because
it's just you.
It's just you. Like obviously you can race, but like for most, if you're not an elite runner, which is most of us, it's just yourself. Like it's just like how hard are you pushing yourself? How much are you challenging yourself? And when you're out there running and your legs are telling you to stop and your body's telling you I'm too tired, please stop. Like all that's left is your brain to keep you going. You see what I'm saying? And so like the amount of times where I would hit like mile 18 out of 22 and I'm like, yo, I can't do it. Like I would stop, like put my hands on my hips at a light and I'm just like, I can't do it. Like I don't deserve this bib. Like Boston is one of the hardest.
It's a Boston Marathon.
Boston's one of the hardest marathons to get into in the world, and it's to a lot of people considered the hardest course in the world. And so, me being an average Joe trying to train for this shit while being a stupid DJ and shit, like I'd just be like, I don't deserve to be here. I don't deserve to train for this. I don't deserve to have this.
How'd you get into the marathon?
We got so I'm part of a run crew called Pioneers Run Crew. Follow Pioneers RC on Instagram. Been part of that for we're heading into our 5-year anniversary this coming month actually. And we do a lot of good in the community. We're about inclusive running, all paces, all faces, you know, anybody, everybody. You know, don't get me wrong. We have some elite runners, sub 3 hour marathoners type shit. But we have a 1 mile group that just walks a mile or runs a mile, you know, we welcome beginners, you know what I mean? And, I was a beginner. I remember when my first time I ran, I was running in cotton tank tops and 1 shorts and like some random sneaks. You know, and now I'm like, because of 5 years later, you learn, like now I'm in like some of the best running shoes the market can buy and dope running gear and stuff, you know what I mean? And ran a marathon. So, like I said, we do a lot of events, a lot of good for the community. And so the mayor's office gave us 3 bibs, 3 invitational bibs. So no need to qualify and no need to raise money. And so there was a vote on who the 3 bibs should go to, and I was one of them.
This fucking guy, bro. He's a fucking legend. Dude.
The chosen one.
Jesus. Here you go. Here's a laptop and shit. You can do this shit. Hell, you can do this shit too while you're at it.
But it's, I mean,
but that's huge, bro. That's incredible, man. Like, congratulations, bro, on everything, on running the Boston Marathon, the Boston Music Award, DJ of the Year, bro. Being part of Dope, your journey from, you know, switching schools and living in Brooklyn and coming over here to Boston. Like, bro, you've had an incredible journey.
I think this is one of my favorite like origin stories.
It's one of my favorite origin stories, and this is exactly why I had you on the season finale.
I appreciate that, man.
I felt like you were gonna have a really great fucking story, bro, and you did not disappoint, bro. That was incredible. That
I appreciate
shit,
it.
You believed in yourself. Like I felt like you believe in yourself more than you actually believe in yourself.
If that even makes sense.
That completely makes sense.
Any sense.
It makes complete sense.
Like I feel like you believe in me more than I believe in myself, you know. And like the whole part you said about breaking mental walls every like couple miles, like, bro, that's true. I can only imagine because when you're running and you're alone, and you're only by yourself, that's how I feel. I know it's not the exact same, but that's how I feel at like Wednesdays and Thursdays at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Dude, the people feel like that in
morning.
life, like where the like their life is a marathon. You know what I mean? And
That's
like,
true. Well, I wouldn't say.
no, but I'm saying what I'm saying is like people will find them like.
I see what you're saying.
That that one really bad week is their mile 15, and they're just fucking crying, and they're just fucking depressed, and they're like, I don't deserve to be here. I don't deserve to be doing the things that I'm doing, and it's like, you know, you ran 15 miles. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you've done the work to get there, and you know what you're capable of, and that you deserve to be where you are in that spot, and that's why you're there. Yeah, and so break through the wall.
I was gonna say, you know like, break through that wall, like. Look at I sometimes look at like YouTube motivational videos.
YouTube's a great tool, bro.
And bro, like I remember like sometimes like a lot of people like look at where they're at and they're like sad or whatever like that, or they want something more. It's like, bro, take a step back and realize like back like 5 years ago, you dreamed about being where you want to be right now. Exactly. And bro, like give yourself a little.
That's what I'm saying. You're at mile 15. You ran 15 miles, man. Be proud of that. That's you know crazy. What I mean? Like however you fit that in your timeline. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think generally speaking, and you can apply this to anything, is, you know, preparation would lead to confidence, and then confidence would lead to performance. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you look at things the way you're supposed to, analyze them the way you're supposed to, and prepare the way you're supposed to in anything, whether it's work, school, you know, DJing, running, really anything, it's going to make you that much more confident in what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And that confidence is going to show and allow you to perform and be the best that you need, you know, be what you need to be and be as good
like
as you need to be.
The guys at QNC told us their strategy, it's like a 3 formula thing. They said visualize, strategize, and then capitalize.
Or execute.
Or execute,
whatever. But that's you're right, bro. And so you've done all this, you've gone after it. You failed too, as well. Yeah. And you. I think the failure is also important because you learn from your failures, not as much as you learn from. You know, you learn more from your fails than you do your success. You know. And I think the important story with you is just like adapting to your situation, but also realizing like. Bro, like failing is part of the journey. Like don't be so hard on yourself. Like get back up because that's part of the journey. You don't fucking just make it 100%. It's all done. So I guess kind of here to wrap up the pod. Like, what's one last piece of advice you would give to upcoming creatives or anybody that is trying to do maybe what you do, or maybe something that we do, or something that anyone does, just trying to break out of that 9 to 5 and trying to be creative and be out there and do what's they're passionate about, whether it's DJing or being an artist or whatever, you know?
Yeah. I think it's easy to fear what's to come, whether it's the failure, the success, the time, right? And I think fear is, I don't think you should fear any of that. I think you should respect it. And what I mean by that is understand what it takes, understand the time that it's going to take, the commitments, the sacrifices. And with respect in that regard, to be able to visualize it in that way rather than fear it is going to be the difference of, again, how you ultimately prepare for it and your confidence through it and how you ultimately perform. So mindset is, it's all easier said than done, right? But I think the two biggest juxtaposing concepts is fear and respect of anything that you do, anyone you meet. You know, you shouldn't be afraid of anyone, but you should respect them. You shouldn't fear the journey, but you should respect the journey. You know,
fear none, respect all.
Yeah, I wasn't afraid of the marathon, but I respected it. I knew what it took. I knew the kind of preparation it would take, and I knew how difficult it would be. But if I was just afraid of it, I wouldn't have done it. I don't deserve to be there. I'm too heavy. I'm too big. I'm not a runner. I can't run that distance. I fear it. It's not going to happen. You see what I'm saying? Fear is what's going to close you off of these things and these opportunities. So
dive in, get after it too, man.
I think that's what it is, man.
Don't fear it. Respect it.
Yeah, and respect doesn't mean like you're going to own it. You're going to teabag it. Like you respect what it is. It's reality. You're rationalizing things, and respecting it might be okay. I need more time. I'm not ready. I respect this way too much. It's not ready. I'm not ready for it. Right? That's different than fearing it. Right? That's the difference. So I think the sooner and the better you understand that concept, you'll start seeing things change.
Damn. Question. Your name.
My real name?
No, like Snacks.
Oh.
Like what does it come from?
Oh, I knew that this was this. It's a funny story, man. Like so at Holy Cross. Okay, so at Holy Cross, the first flyer I ever had was DJ, my first name, my last name, because I didn't have a name. But Snacks was like just like this, like a nickname, like that, I just like had. Yeah. And I remember this is like the moment that's like would be like in a movie where it's just like just put this in, like I'll change it later.
Yeah.
Like the whole, like I was just like, because I remember they sent me the email. This is the flyer. You know, we're trying to get this out today. Like, let us know right now if there's any changes. Like, I couldn't just like make the name that like I was gonna stick with for the next 20, 30 years. Yeah. Like I was just like, just put this. People know me as that, so they'll know who I am. But like, it's not gonna be my fucking full name. Yeah. You know what I mean? Just put this. We'll change it later. Like that was the thing. We'll change it later.
And you never did.
And never changed it. Is it a good name? No, but it's one of those things.
I think it's a dope name.
No, but it's a dope name because an award-winning DJ sitting in front of you. If you met me at 20, when I was a nobody with that name, you'd be like, you should probably change it. It's the difference of like this. If I go up to you and I say, yo man, I'm this rapper, bro. Like I got this mixtape you gotta listen to, and you're like, whatever. And you're like, okay, what's your DJ name, bro? And I'm like, 50 Cent.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And you're like, bro, come on, man. What kind of shit is that? And then Get Rich and Die Trying drops. I'm the biggest rapper in the world. I buy vitamin water. You know. Now I have fucking power on Showtime. Damn, that dude 50 Cent's kind of the fucking man, bro.
I see what he's saying.
You see what I'm saying? It's all perception. What do you put behind the name is what matters.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
All vision.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, that's it, man. That's all we got. That's all we got. That, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, that was the end of the Real Relay podcast. This is a season finale with your boy, biggest DJ in the fucking universe, best moderator in the fucking world, Barber, best DJ in the entire world. We're going to see you at Live. We're going to see you in Vegas.
Pull up.
Believe that. We're going to see you in Europe, Rolling Loud, fucking Coachella. We're going to see you. Believe that. Real Relate, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube. More content is on the way. This ain't over. This is just the beginning. Barber, give us the last and final outro.
Well, DJ Snacks, we appreciate you for coming on and dropping all these gems on the people. Until next time, Relay family, we'll see you real soon. Peace out.
Deuces.